Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Vancha kalpatrubhascha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, stalwarts, for joining. Welcome to our Super Sunday. The mantras I just chanted are indicative of the process that we're engaged in because we're channeling the sound that's coming down from Krishna. There is a spiritual world and there is a material world. And there's a difference in the sound vibration. We can import the sound from the spiritual world and reawaken souls here in the material world, starting with ourselves. In this age, it's customary to abstract that whatever sound we have and put it into writing. It's an ingenious system. Humans can do that, primates can't. There are intricate rules for language. And to be able to put it into a writing system, if you think about it, it's quite complex. It's even hard to learn a second language if you didn't get it naturally as a kid. So there are many things people take for granted. One is that we got a human life. But the Bhagavatam says, Labvam sudurlabhamidam bahusam bhavante manushamartadam anityamapi hadira. You should be tira, sober to realize that it's an opportunity that's very, very rare. 99.9% of the people have no idea how rare and valuable their human life is. And we can hand them something that's sound vibration from the spiritual world, especially meant to awaken them to their opportunity. And all they have to do is look at it and it'll register in their minds and brains. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was enlivening Sanatana Goswamis about this process, said, Maya Mukta Jivir Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan. Jivera Kripoya Koila, Krishna Veda Puran. So therefore, Krishna, as the literary incarnation of the Lord, went to much trouble to codify the sound vibrations that have been passed down over millennia so that people, especially in this age of Kali Yuga, could take advantage of those sound vibrations. Anarto pasanam sakshat bhakti yogam adhoksaje lokasya ajanato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam means people are ignorant of their opportunity. There's something completely fulfilling when you see an innocent living entity who's in danger, and then you're able to save that living entity. So we have that opportunity to save human beings whose lives are most valuable by connecting them to the sound vibration of the spiritual world. In any case, it was the preoccupation of Srila Prabhupada to render the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and all these priceless vibrations into written form. So obviously, he labored for this. And that's what Prabhupada calls kriyasu, manual labor. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 37th verse, Prabhupada writes the following in his purport from this famous verse spoken by the demigods, Lord Krishna in the womb. It's the last paragraph. He says the word kriyasu, meaning by manual labor or by work, is important in this verse. One should engage in practical service to the Lord. In our Krishna consciousness movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. One may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he may also become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Kriyasu yachcharanadavindeyo. Such activities will always remind the devotee of the Lord's lotus feet. By fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. Couldn't be any clearer. I'll just make one last point because we'd like to hear from the devotees from various parts of the world of what kind of manual labor they're engaged in to distribute the books. And as first comes pledges, then comes the mercy. In fact, when people are depressed, psychologists say, find something you can do, and then your mind will rise to the occasion. If I say, oh, I can't do anything, and then I say, well, that way I won't do any manual labor, then you'll just stay in that doldrum. This is a movement for those who want to take risks. The biggest risk is making a pledge and saying, I'm going to do something. And therefore, our battle cry is assume it can be done. What's illegal is keeping a list of all the reasons it can't be done. If somebody keeps a list like that, they should hide it very carefully because if we find it, you're going to be in big trouble. And definitely don't bring it with you wherever you go. Just assume it can be done. Take a risk. Life is short. Try to do this. Krishna's doing it anyway. We're just instruments. We have to rise to an occasion. Prabhupada didn't get on a boat because it was easy. He did it because it was kriyasu. Rise to the occasion. Do something for Krishna. And realize it's not me doing it. It's not the obstacles that count. It's my will to rise up and do it. And that, for that matter, distributing Srimad Bhagavatam sets takes courage because everything in our mind says, well, nobody's going to take that. It's too big, too expensive. Blah, blah, blah. The main thing is just do it. Kriyasu yat charanadavindeyo. Bring it. Show it. Talk about it. How do you know nobody will take it? We're finding breakthroughs all over the world. Last night we were talking to the devotees in Australia. 3 little brahmacharis in a van. They look like little cherubs, just out of high school or something. And there's like, oh yeah, we accidentally sold 7 sets of Bhagavatams yesterday. Like, how'd you do that? Kriyasu Charanara Vindayo. They brought them with them. And the leaders there in Australia said, we never knew you could do that. Well, we don't know anything. None of us do, except that Lord Chaitanya will empower anybody who tries. Kriyasu, you got to do it. So here we are, the biggest opportunity that any living entity's ever had. We're right at the beginning of Kali Yuga, and we've been handed a service that was done personally by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We've been handed that. Now it's in our hands. Are we going to get on the docks of some Jaladuta and jump on a boat? Yeah, let's do this. This is our team. This is all we've got. Let's rise to the occasion. Even if we lose, at least we went for the top. So we need everybody. We need, even if you live in a little shack and you've got a wife and 2 little kids, we need everybody on hand. This is Bhadra Purnima, an opportunity for all of us to show up. So I'm deeply grateful for all of you. Thank you very much for being here today. And we're going to have a few perspectives And Shamahini is going to tell us what we've won.
Hare Krishna. Marge, we were going to hear from Ambarishi Swami, but he's at the airport and his connection's really bad. So he left a message on the chat saying, "My connection is very bad to say something. Presently, result for Russia is 230 sets."
Haribo. Thank you, Ambarishi Maharaj. We're deeply grateful.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, now we're going over to Tirumala. It's amazing how we can jump from one continent to the other in Africa. Tirumala Devi, please tell us how things are going in Africa.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So in Africa at the moment, our goal is 254 sets. In Mauritius, the devotees have already distributed around 20%. They've reached about 20% of their goal. And then across Africa, the devotees are, making sure that they're making use of all of these festivals, ensuring that Srimad Bhagavatam is displayed and that, there is some attention being drawn to the campaign. And then I want to also mention in Africa, in Durban specifically, there was a program a few weeks ago just specifically focused on the Bhadra campaign itself. So yeah, doing our best to bring attention to the campaign, and the devotees are working hard at distributing as much as they can.
Tirumala, can you tell us a little bit about how you're bringing it? I really like these points because this goes to what's the next step anybody can take to move things forward. And you mentioned focus, you mentioned attention. Tell us a couple of details. How are you helping your constituents there to give attention to the campaign of distributing Srimad Bhagavatam sets?
Okay, so devotees have, they have printed some of the material that we've created in terms of marketing material, and they've put up posters. For one, there's posters that have been put up. There's banners that have also been printed and are displayed at Sunday programs. Some temples have the facility whereby they have little what do you call it, like screens where they put up messages. And at our temple here in Santon, there's always a message, about book distribution specifically. And then there'll always be a slide on whichever campaign we're currently focusing on. So there's that. Then there's always book tables at specific markets that the devotees go out on. But in addition to that, at Sunday love feasts and at special programs, for example, like Balaram Purnima yesterday, there's always displays. And there's also a special campaign that was started a few years ago in South Africa called the Tin Can Campaign. And initially, it started out as literally little tin cans that would be placed at Govindas and wherever we could place them. And so people would put in like little donations, and then obviously it grew, and it's not necessarily just a tin can campaign anymore. It's a facility that's been created for devotees or anyone who wants to contribute. And there's obviously an EFT details that are displayed as well. And so it's just to facilitate that opportunity to allow others to participate by contributing, even if it's not a full Bhagavatam set that is sponsored, but even part of a set.
Tirumala David, what is your personal motivation for doing this? You're always active. You're in that principle, Kriyasu Yat Sharanara Vindayo. I see you everywhere, and you're always working hard, even against deadlines. What's motivating you personally? We want to hear your personal realization.
Well, I feel that personally I've been touched by Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. And I feel like I've received a lot of mercy myself. And the best way that I can say thank you is to extend that to others and tried to become an instrument. Because if it wasn't for the endeavor of others bringing this mercy into my life, I actually don't know where I'd be today. So that's what inspires me.
Thank you so much. You're a huge part of the worldwide campaign. If others don't know, she works behind the scenes in graphics and design and is always tuned in to the campaign from the earliest stages to make sure it unfolds around the world. Thank you so much for all you're doing. And I would like to, it would be helpful if these tin can things, you could send any of the information to Shamahini. We can pass those on to other people.
Definitely. No,
We have a
definitely.
repository for any of the ideas so everyone can share them. That's the idea. We're one world team, everyone together. Thank you very much, Tirumala. Fantastic. And now we come to the mighty Trey. I can't say enough about Prabhu, who's really one of the senior most devotees in our movement, who has a track record that spans over decades, 6 decades. He's been engaged in book distribution and faithfully following Srila Prabhupada. And he's always been there to inspire devotees around the world. And now he's taken up the task. I've seen him in action, calling devotees individually around Europe and giving his full attention. Seemingly, I don't know what age he is. I don't think he has an age, but
74.
74 going on maybe 38 or something like that. Trey Prabhu,
Really?
it's such an honor to have you here. Thank you. Your presence inspires us, just your example in your life. Please tell us the good news from Europe
Hare,
about how devotees are thinking and acting.
Hare Krishna. My Sheshika, he's such a wonderful preacher and Sankirtan devotee. Sometimes he exaggerates in his appreciation of devotees. I'm just trying to do some little service to encourage devotees here around Europe on Sankirtan. I'm very embarrassed. I really didn't want to come on this meeting because I don't have big news to spread to everyone. I can only say that we'll try harder for the last lap. Yeah, please ask everyone to turn on their cameras. Half the people you can't even see them. That's the wonderful part of these video calls, that you can see each other and relate on a more personal basis. I really appreciate that. That purport from the 10th canto that Vaisheshika Prabhu read about Kriyasu, that working, endeavoring, in particular in book distribution, as the desire of Srila Prabhupada. This was some of his last purports just before he left, apparently externally left this world. But he gave it such a clear indication that this is a service which gives greatest pleasure to Srila Prabhupada. And that's why I know that's why Vaisheshika Prabhu, all of you, myself, we dedicated ourselves to this because it's the best way to please Srila Prabhupada, by endeavoring practically, physically, using our senses, our intelligence, our mind, to make plans how to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. I have to admit, I'm not making enough for the European yatras. We will try to do better. Some of them are, I'm not going to, as you mentioned in the beginning, that, you may have your list of all the excuses why you're not, so I have my list, but I'm not going to say it on my list because that wouldn't be nice. I'll say my list, my shorter list of how we're going to try to do better and recuperate in these next, well, there's only 1 month left, I guess, for the Bhadra campaign. So we'll try to make a big final push to encourage devotees. One bright spot was that I was just compiling the European Sankirtan newsletter the last couple of days, and I was going down, I get all the results from each of the countries, each of the temples, and all of a sudden Lithuania, which is a small, tiny little country up in the far north of Europe, they did about triple or quadruple of what they usually do. And I came to the end, it's 16 Srimad Bhagavatam sets they did in 1 month for a country that usually does not so many books at all. So, and then I was speaking to Naveen Nirada Prabhu just yesterday, and he said, no, I distributed those sets. He was there visiting, and he distributed those. He said all he did was he brought them out and talked to the devotees, older devotees. Anybody who didn't have a set, he made sure they got a set of Srimad Bhagavatams. And thus, I guess it was in one day, he did 16 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. So if it can be done there in Lithuania, which is, like I said, it's not a large yatra, but they just took two things. They concentrated on a little bit, but uh, by the association of inspired and empowered book distributor Sankirtan devotee Naveen Nirda Prabhu, they were able to do miracles, things that they never thought were possible. So as Aisheshi Prabhu always says, that if you just try it, just do your best, try it, and miracles will happen. Miracle, and I just saw that Lithuanian miracle happened, and never hardly just very few books, and all of a sudden 16 sets, which brought them right up above many other yatras in Europe. So we're seeing the miracle, and we'll try to spread that miracle and the inspiration to see that it's possible, everything is possible by Krishna's desire. Since it is Krishna's desire that his glories and Srimad Bhagavatam are distributed widely, then for sure it's possible in every country. But to speak, we have about 30 countries here, and if it's possible in Lithuania, it's possible anywhere. It's just as Naveen Nirdu was saying, we just put them out there, let them be seen, let them be touched, let them speak about them, and then let Krishna's miracle happen. So that's all I can say. We'll try harder and try to get going. Shamohini's on my case because they have very few pledges from Europe. So in the next couple of days, I'll make sure that I'll go one by one and get every country that's willing to make a pledge someday. And we'll get them to you as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Sri Prabhu. Very enlivening. I think, Tirumala, you can make some special campaign called the Lithuanian Miracle. We should grab on that since you mentioned it, and we can put that out there in the last month. Sri Prabhu, a month is plenty of time. In the pandemic, we didn't rally till the last month, and then we exceeded our goal by um, over 10,000, 15,000 books, uh, 15,000 sets during that time. So a month, fine, no problem. And I want to mention something in regards to the wisdom that Trey Prabhu just gave us, which is about just taking things out there. He mentioned how did Lithuania, how did this Lithuanian miracle happen? Uh, the devotee who did it said, I brought them out. That was his response. He brought them out. And so this is the impetus. Now, somebody might say, well, I had the trouble bring them out. Nobody's going to take them. Listen to this. This is Prabhupada's purport. And as Trey Prabhu mentioned, this is Prabhupada in his final months or weeks. He writes in the purport, for those who are keeping score at home, 10.1.3 in the purport, Prabhupada writes the following sentence: anyone who becomes even slightly interested in Krishna Katha is liberated. Slightly interested. You can interpret it the way you like, but if you put Bhagavatams on a book table and someone comes by it and expresses a slight interest in them, they are liberated in that moment. And
Mhm.
anything can happen. So let's go with the Lithuanian miracle and spread it all over the world because that's what makes things happen, not some fancy formula. It's just guts. It's just grit. It's just saying, Kriyasu Yashwachadanaravindaya. Prabhupada did it. He wore pointy rubber shoes and walked around town with a huge, uh, stack of books. And he walked into America. They asked him, what are you doing with all these books at customs? And he said, oh, yeah, these are gifts. And then he started a whole worldwide movement by just bringing books. every one of us can do it, but you gotta go into the darkness. And the last thing is that go into the darkness of your
Hopefully.
negativity and say, I'm going to rise above it. That and this is the this is what I had another thought and I just interrupted myself, but it'll come back. Okay, thank you, Trey Prabhu. We're moving now on to Divya Nam Prabhu, who is the counterpart part of the puzzle for getting Europe back to its glory days of 1982. And as usual, he's in the field going door to door or something. Tell us, tell us what's going on out there, Divya.
Hi, Kishore. Sorry, it's a bit hot here. I'm in the field. We are just setting up for Janmashtami here. I'm gonna see if I can turn my camera around so you can see where we are. That's our tent at Bhaktivedanta Manor. And our theme here for this year is Mission Impossible with I Am Blocked Out, which means Mission Possible. It's depicting Prabhupada's journey to America with Srimad Bhagavatam. The whole theme is around that. And we have a theater on the left-hand side, an exhibit on Srimad Bhagavatam on the right-hand side. It's all getting ready inside. We are painting today. And we are expecting around 35,000 people to visit us over the course of 2 days of Janmashtami and Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. So we are hoping to at least, try and distribute 200 Bhagavatam sets over the 2 days. But yeah, towards our small goal, inching towards our target of 500 sets here, Maharaj. We are quite behind this year, but we are hopeful that we'll gain some momentum after Janmashtami. I also have an update from Soho. Soho, I think, has just gone past 225 sets. They are doing really well. In London, Wales is also picking up energy. And the best update I have, Maharaj, that yesterday we had an amazing event with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who did get your email. I managed to speak to him, get a couple of embraces from Maharaj too, which was really nice. And Maharaj very nicely advocated the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was an event attended by at least 400 devotees. And he gave out the wristbands to everybody who pledged that they will try to distribute at least one set. So we distributed around 150 bands to the devotees yesterday when Maharaj gave the Balram Jayanti class, and he spoke lovingly about Bhagavatam, about you and Mother Nirakula. And he said everyone should participate in this amazing effort and we should not miss this opportunity. And then he allowed me to speak and do a presentation. And then we played a video by Srila Prabhupada on his journey to America and also on his bed before leaving Vrindavan. And that was very moving. And then we had a video from you, Maharaj, talking about one set, I think, which you sent to Soho. So we managed to grab onto that video as well. And then again, Maharaj reinforced. He came out, he met the whole Sankirtan team, and he wished everybody good luck. And for the Sankirtan team, he especially touched all the bands to his heart, his head, yeah. And then he was so happy that we are doing this. So I'm very grateful that, because of such bond and love you have, and leaders like him are now advocating Srimad Bhagavatam. So UK is in good hands with Maharaj being here for another week. I think Janmashtami also he will be here with us. So yeah, that's the update, Maharaj. Way behind the goal, but hopeful. I think the magic really picks up in the last 1 month. I'm just going to quickly introduce Keshav Gokulanand Prabhu, who's leading our Janmashtami efforts at Bhaktivedanta Manor. This is Vaishashika Prabhu live on BBT. You can tell us what we are doing, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Let me just change the camera. Here we are.
Hare Krishna.
So tell us, Keshav Gokulanand Prabhu, what's happening in the Janmashtami tent, what we're planning to do.
Oh yeah, so this year we've got a tent as you were shown, quite a big tent, and then we've got two partitions, one where kids are doing 3D models from pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, and you're going to have Srimad Bhagavatam display tables. And on the other side, we have a drama done by kids on killing of Kamsa, and adults are doing a drama on Srila Prabhupada and his arrival in the US. So hopefully with all your blessings, we should be able to distribute many Bhagavatams. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Keshav Prabhu. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, devotees. We seek everyone's blessings. Sai Prabhu, Guru Maharaj, and everybody around the world.
Divyanam.
Yes,
We
Maharaj.
like it. We like your action shots from the field. We like the sunglasses. We like the being out there in the hot weather. This is bhakti. Bhakti means rising to the occasion. Kriyasya shasharanadava, build a tent, build a table, get a sign, go somewhere, put it out there. Thank you very much for all you're doing
Thank
there.
you, Maharaj.
It takes a living entity to rise to the occasion to make this happen, and
This is
you're
Dinanath
and your
Gauranga Prabhu
team are
Maharaj
doing
painting the tent, getting ready for painting. So this is our exhibit. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
fantastic.
Maharaj.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Keep up the great work. A couple of points. I remembered the point I was going to make previously when I said I interrupted myself. I just posted it. The word devotee comes from Latin. Devoto means one who votes. Votes means to make a vow. And devoto literally means one who makes and keeps vows. There is no life without vows to God. And when we're doing service, especially book distribution, the reason it's so rewarding, it's high stakes. Because who wants to make a vow they can't make? Well, those who want to live on the edge and be recognized by Krishna do that. So be a devoto. Vote for Krishna and say, Krishna, I'm making a vow. You're going to help me fulfill it. I'm going to do the action. And another that I'm taking away from Divyanam's is just the leadership there he mentioned from His Holiness Radhanath Swami, uh, going out of his way to mention to everybody that this is important. This is one of our principles we've been talking about. Advocacy moves the world. It has the word vak in it. What you say as leaders, and you're all leaders on here, what you say to others is what moves the congregation, which moves the family. So get conviction, get a vow, and then talk about it so that people can understand it. And another principle we just extracted was that Ranaswamy touched the bands, his heart to his head, and then handed them out. Now, what's the difference between a band, if you just threw it on a table and said, "Here, help yourself," and then having a devotee that everyone respects deeply to touch the bands and then personally hand them out? This is a very personal process that we're involved in. And as we've talked about before, when you have an intangible, you add it onto something, then it becomes much more inestimably valuable. So think of ways to supercharge whatever you're passing out by the personal touch. And a chat box next to where I'm sitting, uh, when I mentioned that, touching the bands, I said I thought it was a good idea. Shamahini wrote back and said, that's an amazing intangible. So look for amazing intangibles. You know, that's AI. We have our own AI, the amazing intangible. Find out how to spiritualize everything that you do, make it personal, make it connected to Krishna. Okay, now we're moving on. Today, we now get to hear from Nutama, maybe the hardest working devotee in the northern continent. And I'm always amazed at his organization skills and how he's able to get everywhere and talk to everyone. Tell us how things are going up there in Canada, Anutama Prabhu. Great to see you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it's great to see you as well. Thank you so much for your encouragement. I'd like to show a presentation on what we've been doing in the last month. And just let me know once you're able to see it.
We could see it. It's
Ah,
beautiful.
Jai. So I had a fantastic mission-oriented trip for 3 days last weekend in Halifax. They're ISKCON's easternmost center in North America, located about an hour flight northeast of Boston. So new temple property, so young devotees. So it was really good and ripe for me to go there and establish a Sankirtan mood, ensuring that that's the main mission of the temple. Younger management, so they were able to adjust a lot of details, open to guidance. I personally hand delivered the 2024 annual Sankirtan report to the temple president and the devotees there. Did classes for the youth, the congregation, and also the core team on, successful spiritual movements. They bought a fantastic church property, and it's going to be the home of Shri Gaur Nitai. and organized their book room and also gave them recommendations on what books to order in Halifax. And also, we made some sets of books together. We bought the Srimad Bhagavatam, which was in the book room, out to the main book table. Did a sharing bhakti seminar, which is a simple Sankirtan seminar for the devotees on how to distribute the Bhagavad Gita on its own merit, and also the Srimad Bhagavatam. Went out on Harinam, and some of the devotees were wondering what's the best way to do it so that we're giving Krishna consciousness and also doing it in a tasteful manner for the local public. So we were able to achieve both, where we distributed books, prasadam, and the holy name by the waterfront. And as soon as I got a pack of books out, this gentleman on the left in the middle picture, he says, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "It's a set of four Chaturvedi set." And he's like, "Oh, I'd like to have that." So I was thinking that I would keep those sets there, but already it was just within 30 seconds it was gone. So it was really good trip out there to Halifax, Nova Scotia for 3 days. So that was wonderful. Next is building connections. So, ensuring that, people we meet, leave them in a positive impression. So we had study groups where we engaged new volunteers. In the middle, a temple was packing for its Rath Yatra, and somebody stopped by and says, "What is this you're packing?" It's the Srimad Bhagavatam set. So he immediately took the Bhagavatam set based on that. We had the Brahmacharis visit from Florida, so they did a Harinam, and by giving the holy names out, we attracted a few people to take a Bhagavad Gita. And on the left, on the stage there, when we advocate for Srimad Bhagavatam, that we glorify the books. It brings people to the book table, which makes it quite accessible, and also removing barriers for recipients. We on the right, there's a picture from yesterday, a delivery in Toronto for the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the recipient was initially hesitant that, "Oh, I'm just renting a unit, it's not my own place." And I mentioned we're all renting, we're all here for a temporary period of time anyway, so why don't you just take the Bhagavatam without any hesitation? So they ended up doing that, and that was delivered. Another is advocating. So we had Sanatan Dharma Prabhu Brahmachari from Pune visit Calgary, and some Bhagavatam sets went out because of his advocacy, giving classes on Srimad Bhagavatam. I visited ISKCON Muskoka, which is out in the cottage country in Ontario, and they have a Srimad Bhagavatam set displayed on the altar. On the left is Srila Prabhupada, in the middle is the altar, on the right is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And yeah, they have a Canadian flag on the temple, which I thought was quite interesting. Recently in Toronto, the Cineplex is the largest movie theater company in Canada. So the Mahavatar Narsimha viewing, it was just an idea thrown out there that wouldn't it be nice to have a Srimad Bhagavatam there? And then the Toronto Sankirtan team, Punya Shravana Prabhu and Vishaka Devi Dasi, they got together and contacted the local Cineplex and be able to distribute a Srimad Bhagavatam set and also have the book table. So they got permission to have the book table. So as soon as people watch the movie, they come out, there's a devotee there with the Srimad Bhagavatam for this limited period of time while it's viewing here in theaters. And lastly, the Rath Yatra festivals. Fantastic. Brampton, they did 8 sets in one day at their Rath Yatra festival, a total of 847 books. Red Deer distributed some books and connected to locals. And then also Scarborough and Stouffville, they had the Rath Yatras as well, and then they had the books out for display. And that's it.
You're so nonchalant. That's it. That's huge. It's one victory after another. Really amazing points. Harken back to the Gandhi movie, circa 1980 or something like that. It was a coup for book distribution for at least a decade after the movie. And these events that happen, that any indication, connection whatsoever to Vedic culture, what to speak of an avatar of Krishna, this is a huge opportunity to capitalize upon. And I think you're one of the first ones I've heard of, your group, so innovative up there, setting up outside. And just your main points, the way you're going around, the leadership, you said, first thing you said was you helped the new temple make their main mission, the book distribution. One may say, oh, well, how's that? Well, I'll just repeat what Prabhupada says right here in the Bhagavatam, and that this is our main, here, sorry, Kriyasu Yat Vindayo. He says, and I quote, in the purport, this is very important. One may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he may become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. And Prabhupada starts the paragraph by saying, one should engage in practical service to the Lord in our Krishna conscious movement. All our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. Interesting. Why would Prabhupada say that? Something to think about. Thank you very much, Anutama Prabhu. Fantastic. Amazing. And now, with great pleasure, I introduce our co-Sankirtan leader of ISKCON of Silicon Valley, the most determined person I've met who, under stress, smiles more than anybody else I know, and has been highly successful in motivating a huge team of devotees over decades now to go out and distribute millions of dollars worth of books every year. Molly, tell us how it's going in ISV and what tips you have to share with the world.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances and obeisances to all the devotees here. I just wanted to mention a couple of things that we are seeing an increase in the awareness of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm reporting from the field, which is mainly distributing sets outside the devotee community. And the classes that devotees are giving all over the world about Srimad Bhagavatam. And your Bhadra campaign for the last few years has increased the awareness. Previously, when we used to go out on book distribution, we asked, would you like to have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam? They would ask, what is Srimad Bhagavatam? But now, because of the efforts of the Bhadra campaign, everybody has heard at least what is Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is increasing the awareness. And yesterday, when we went out for book distribution, many people came saying that they just saw the movie Mahavatar Nashinga. So it is nice that they saw that, and then we connected them back to Srimad Bhagavatam. So they really like it. And we also see that people, when we start presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, they're kicking off their shoes to show respect as a sign of respect for Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's happening more often than what we saw before. So I think the Bhagavatam wave is rising. We can ride on this wave right now. It's a very good opportunity to present Srimad Bhagavatam around the world. And we also saw some amazing results yesterday. We made friends with the other temples because a lot of pious people come to the temples, may not be coming all of them to ISKCON temples, but other temples are open. We made friendships, and then yesterday, in about a couple of hours, we distributed about 21 Srimad Bhagavatams at another temple, Hindu temple. People are very open, very pious. So that's one thing. And we found that there are three major concerns that people have when we try to present a Srimad Bhagavatam. The first concern they have is like, oh, this is too many books. I can't take 18 books. How I don't have space, especially we are from Bay Area. The houses are really, really tiny. So they have a concern. Even after we present, if they don't take, now they don't have an excuse because now we have ebooks. So all the people who said we don't have space are now being converted because they are taking ebooks very happily. So that is one thing. Second thing they're concerned about is that, oh, how these are 18 books, too many books for us to finish reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We are just telling them don't finish the books, just relish reading them. And also, this is a project of preservation. So all we are asking you is preserve the Srimad Bhagavatams in your house. So take Krishna to your home and just give some little space for Krishna in your home. And don't worry about reading them because once Bhagavatam comes to your home, Krishna gives you the time and energy to read. So don't worry about that. Just give him some space. and people kind of like it, that they have one stress removed from their head, that oh, they don't have to finish reading it immediately. And the third thing is, yesterday we met some people who are in between jobs and they didn't have um, enough money to buy Srimad Bhagavatam or donate for Srimad Bhagavatam. So we set up with some installment plans. And one person said, is it okay if I give you $50 for the next few months to cover the cost for it? We said, absolutely no problem. We set up with an installment plan. And there was another person who was in a similar situation, came and said that I'm in between jobs, maybe I won't be able to pay. And then we said, okay, no problem. We were trying to set him up for the installment plan. And after some time, he said, you know what? It's okay. Let me give you 250 right away. I know that things will happen in future. No problem. This is the right cause. And people are very much eager to preserve Sanatan Dharma. They are very eager to see how this Sanatan Dharma can be propagated throughout the world. So we are seeing that very positive results outside the devotee community also. So I think, as Prabhu mentioned, we just have to give it a try. And we have a team of devotees who are so dedicated. They go out every weekend. And one of the team members, I think Dhira Prashanta Prabhu is also here. They stay until 10 p.m. at night. And until they distribute at least double digits of Srimad Bhagavatam, they don't go back home. And they also found a store which is open 24 hours a day. So they go to that store if they didn't finish their quota of distributing double digits of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they distribute there and count. So Achita Kumar Prabhu and Dear Prashant Prabhu are these two stalwart devotees. Like that, we have every team here at ISV going and doing their best. So each one doing a little bit goes a long way. So that's all from here, Prabhu, for now. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for giving us a formula for the three. It's very helpful to know. These kinds of formulas come out of intense service, and Krishna reveals, as Prabhupada said, a kind of genius for those who are doing it. And the way book distribution's always spread since the early days is when devotees who are actively engaged in the field get real revelations, they would transport them to other devotees. They put them in letters. Make little books. We didn't have internet, but they would get passed around. And these are the distilled essence of the spiritual intelligence that Krishna is giving various devotees, because that's what happens when you go out. And just to reiterate these three and some of the points, you said there's an increased awareness of Srimad Bhagavatam. What came into my mind when you discussed that is that's what we want. We want a systemic effect by massive book distribution. And I emphasize the word massive. The more these go out into the world, each person who becomes aware of Srimad Bhagavatam and affected by it then becomes a messenger to pass it on to other people. And then you talked about uh, the three concerns people have: too many books. Now we have ebooks. So make sure that you're connected to all the latest things, like how to distribute ebooks. You can connect with Shamahini. She'll connect you to the right people who can get you your ebooks so you can do that. Uh, then how can we finish? Use the word preservation. We're preserving this. You can be one of the preservers, keeping it in your house and make sure that you'll have it. And what's more, Krishna will empower you to have more time. But just if you take him in your house and I don't have enough money, make it easier for people, facilitate payment plans. Thank you very much, Melanie. And thank you very much, dear Prashant, to you and your team for setting a standard for people from your stalwart engagement and going out and just staying out until you hit the double digits. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mali Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now, Shamahini, what other announcements or delectable topics do we have to discuss?
Marge, Ranchor Prabhu can give us an update on how Youth for Book Distribution is going on.
Yeah, take a look at Ranchor. He represents the wave of the youth that it's happening around the world, and he's obviously young. You can see he's young. First time I saw him on Youth Jam, I said, "Who is this kid, Ranchor Das?" And then I met him on our youth yatra, and he stepped up to handle the book distribution for the hundreds of devotees that were there. And he did such a great job, and he wanted to do more to please his spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, that he joined the BBT. And now he's doing analytics, he's doing marketing, and he started this initiative for a worldwide youth book distribution team and a youth book distribution day. So tell us what you're thinking, why you're doing it, what's happening, Ranchor.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. First, I'd like to say that I'm no longer the youngest person on our team. My sister is also on this call. She's helping out with writing some of the articles. Just wanted to recognize her. There's several young devotees. Parikshit, another young devotee who's just, I think, 13 or 14. He's helping Tirumala Mataji with the statics that you see. So there's a wave of younger people than myself. I feel old now. A wave of younger devotees helping out. As far as Youth for Book Distribution goes, 2 weeks ago we had our big flagship event, Global Youth Book Distribution Day. When I first had this discussion with Bhakta Abhay from ISV, who came up with the idea, this is his brainchild more than anyone else's. He was like, the first year is going to be a little rough. It's going to take some time to gather traction. But when we came together, we actually saw that there was really wonderful results all across the country, all across the world. Different devotees participated. Different young devotees were inspired. A lot of people went on Harinam. A lot of people who've never done it before. A lot of devotees who've done it, who haven't done it in a really long time, they reignited. So that's kind of very important. As to Malini Mataji's point about preservation, along with preserving the books that we are distributing, we need to preserve the spirit of book distribution itself, and that necessarily involves getting the younger generation included in our activities. As far as future plans go, as this initiative grows, we have some new leadership. So some of you know Halyu the Kripa Prabhu from ISV. He'll be taking more of a responsibility on helping organize things and helping, get younger devotees in charge and getting them more responsible. So one request that we'll have from everyone is if you know younger devotees that can help coordinate, help be points of contacts, help take responsibility. The only qualification is that they're inspired for book distribution and they really want to help influence more change. So we're trying to build a network of devotees all across the world. And it's a really good opportunity. I was just speaking with Akshay Nitai Prabhu a few days ago, who's also super involved with book distribution at ISV. And he said, it's going to be our generation that has to take a lot of responsibility. So starting to get involved there, it will be really, really helpful. So yeah, if we can have that. And Trey Prabhu, I'm working on the final deck. Hopefully I'll get it this week. I hope to bring that to our meeting with Vaisheshika Prabhu this week, and then I'll send it over. But I promise it took a long time because we were delivering high quality results. But yeah, if anyone else has any suggestions or improvements for the youth.
Thank you very much to Rancho Prabhu, who's dropped off somehow, inexplicably. And I just want to ask Sham Bhakti, I saw her on the call. If you're there, Sham Bhakti, just give us your 60-second overview of the training program that you're creating for the world, book distribution training sessions.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna dear devotee, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Guru Maharaj for giving me this opportunity. Yes, so BBT MCI team recently has been working on a program wherein all the devotees, all the Sankirtan devotees can get a formal book distribution training course. And the first module of that book distribution course was recently launched by Vaisheshika Maharaj and Sadhu Sangha. We have been trying to release an improved version of that course soon with better videos, with better animation, etc. And then we have 3 modules in that course. They're going to be an intermediate version, they're going to be an advanced version. So intermediate version will have, the first beginner version had many modules like why book distribution is important, significance of book distribution, and how anyone who is just just taken this process, how can they go and start doing book distribution. Intermediate would be more about how to do MSF, and then the advanced module would be all about training the trainers. So we all are working on book distribution course. We have our link on distributebooks.com. So I request all devotees to take the advantage of this course and just talk about in your community and try to promote this course. So that's the update I can give. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing, you and your team. Can you put up a link in the chat box of where people can see the course and see the information? I highly recommend, if you want to increase capacity in your area, get devotees into the course, because once devotees are trained, then they feel more motivated. One of the reasons devotees don't go on book distribution is they think it's for experts. But you become an expert by getting a little training and then going out and getting some confidence. And then the rest is all Krishna in your heart that shows you exactly how to do this. Let's see. Thank you very much, Anakul Seva. Unsung hero. He's always behind the scene. Turned his camera on today. It's good to see you. And he works on unlimited projects. Even he's so busy in his professional work. Everybody wants him to work for them. So he barely has any time to himself, but he uses his extra time to help expand Sankirtan. He's an expert in graphics and hundreds of other things. We thank Ishvara Radhe for joining. She's so faithful, always shows up here. We want to thank Siddharth. He's part of the BBT team. He's an expert in what do you call it? IT, and helps design videos. Eka Chakapran is one of the premier preachers in the Western side of things. He's a consummate musician. The Krishna monks from RVC are famous all over the world, headed by His Holiness Danavir Goswami Maharaj, who's been one of the great generals of the Sankirtan movement, what to speak of making new devotees and training them for decades, almost 6 decades he's been engaged, and it's really good to see you all here. We thank Mukaravinda Prabhu, who's one of the great youthful devotees of the Sankirtan movement, who works here, there, and everywhere to promote Sankirtan, including at his own house where he has regular programs. Subhadra Devi Dasi is a stalwart. She goes on book distribution herself and attends every single program that is ever available, is ever present. Dwijamani Prabhu, thank you very much for being here from San Diego. Vishnu Murthy Prabhu, thank you for joining. Harsh Prasanatma Prabhu, thank you. Vedavit Krishna Prabhu, can't say enough about Vedavit Krishna Prabhu, but he's a book distribution advocate since the early days, and everywhere he goes, book distribution springs up. Kirti, thank you for coming. Pratyush Aditya Narayan Prabhu is here. I didn't even know that. We should have asked him something. Suran, that's North Carolina. Amazing team out there. Suran Jugrope, thank you for being here. We like your backdrop. Help me out. Who am I missing?
Nandini Kishori.
Nandini Kishori. There's so many amazing devotees on the online today. That's why if you feel something coming from the screen, you're getting radiated with the effects of intense Krishna Bhakti activity. Thank you very much, Nandini Kishori, for all that you do. Bal Krishna Prabhu, Vishaka Suresh, Neeraj, Saurabh. Hope these are not. I'm not saying your devotee names, but I don't know them all. Nitya Gopal Prabhu, thank you for joining. Shamahini, who did I miss?
Prabhu, I think we got everyone.
Okay. my heartfelt obeisances to all the devotees. Just remember, we're in this hand to hand. It's like we're holding a circle. Remember, you're not alone. Everybody else feels the same trepidation. We all wake up on the wrong side of the floor because the material world has a crushing effect on all of us. But there's one thing that we can do is we can rise to the occasion. Just remember Srila Prabhupada and his battle cry that I'm doing this. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to the dock by myself. I'm going to get off the boat by myself. And I'm going to do what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked me to do. Who cares what happens? At least we're doing it. So let's take the Kriyasu Yashasharanana Vindayo mood and rise to the occasion while we still can. Leave nothing on the field. Let me say, leave everything on the field. Be there for this, and do your best. And if you're going to fail trying hard. We have 1 month left. That's a lot of time. Today, this weekend, Janmashtami, make some visibility. Tell at least one person, and let's get this together. We really want to saturate the world with transcendental literature, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada's last words that he made before he left the planet are in there. Somehow we got them on tape. So that should be there in the world, not Wall Street Journal. Who cares? All the chatter that's going on the social media, who cares? It just puts people in more anxiety. There's one thing that will save people from this maelstrom of the material world, and it's the Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's go for it together. We're here. We are 31 people right now. We can change the world in 1 month. Let's just do it. Okay? Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Radha Kirchor Gopinath, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please instill in our hearts a desire to step up and use our senses in your service in such a way that you'll smile upon us. And please give us compassion in our hearts enough to motivate us to overcome any fear of talking to strangers that we might have, so that we can present Srimad Bhagavatam in pleasant ways to people we meet everywhere. Thank you very much for considering our request. Please shower us with your mercy. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarishta, Kripasindhavevacha,
Krishna.
Patitanam,
Hare
Adibhyo
Krishna.
Vaishnava.
Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram.
Ananta
Ram
Koti
Ram.
Vaishnavini ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Premanande
Shishka Prabhu
Haribo.
ki jai.
Do huge 1 month. Go for